The godfather of heavy metal and Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, has passed away at the age of 76.
Ozzy Osbourne wasn't just a rock star, he was the Prince of Darkness. From Black Sabbath to his wild reality show days, Ozzy gave the world decades of unforgettable music. Chaos and raw emotion. But behind all the fame was a man dealing with serious health battles, deep family issues, and personal demons. And now, after his passing, the autopsy is finally out, and it's not what fans were expecting. While most thought his longtime illness would be the reason, there may be more to this story than anyone imagined. Join us as we uncover the shocking truth behind Ozzy's final days and his cause of death. Ozzy Osbourne's early life and rise to fame. Ozzy Osbourne was born as John Michael Osbourne on December 3, 1948, in Birmingham, England. He grew up in a working-class family with 3 sisters and 2 brothers. Life wasn't easy. Ozzy once said he always felt like a peasant, but his father believed in him. He used to tell Ozzy, "You'll do something big one day." That stuck with him. And he did just that. In 1968, Ozzy teamed up with Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, and Terence "Geezer" Butler to form the band Black Sabbath. 2 years later, they released their first album. It marked the start of heavy metal music as we know it. Ozzy's powerful voice and dark image made him stand out. He became known as the Prince of Darkness. But with fame came struggles. By 1979, Ozzy's problems with drugs and alcohol got out of control. The band kicked him out. Instead of falling apart, Ozzy started his solo career in 1980. His first solo album, Blizzard of Oz, was a hit. He went on to release 13 solo albums, with the first 7 going multi-platinum in the US. Though Black Sabbath had their ups and downs, Ozzy rejoined them in the late 1990s. They made music, toured again, and released their final album, 13, in 2013. The band said goodbye with a final performance in Birmingham in 2017. By then, Ozzy had sold over 100 million albums. His work with Black Sabbath and as a solo artist had made history. In 2006, he was added to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Black Sabbath. Then, in 2024, he was honored again as a solo artist. He also got stars on both the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Birmingham Walk of Stars. But Ozzy's journey was far from over. The man behind the music. While most people knew Ozzy for his wild stage image, there was more to him than just music. He had a strong love for family, humor, and even religion. Though many accused him of being a Satanist, the New York Times reported in 1992 that Ozzy was actually a practicing member of the Church of England. He prayed before each show. He also had a fun side. Ozzy once said, "My favorite movie is Monty Python's Life of Brian," showing his love for comedy. He had over 15 tattoos, including the famous OZZY letters across his left knuckles. That one he gave himself using a sewing needle and pencil lead when he was a teenager. In 2002, Ozzy and his wife Sharon were invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. President George W. Bush even made a joke about him, saying, "Ozzy, Mom loves your stuff." That same year, Ozzy's life changed in another big way. He became a reality TV star. His show, The Osbournes, ran from 2002 to 2005. It showed the wild and funny side of Ozzy and his family. But it wasn't all fun. In 2020, Ozzy told GQ how hard those years were. After 3 years of filming it, the kids were all on drugs. Sharon was battling cancer. And so I said to the family, "Do you want to carry on?" And they said, "No." So we pulled it. Still, he added that he was glad they did the show. It gave fans a closer look at who he really was. In later years, he also did shows like Ozzy and Jack's World Detour and The Osbournes Want to Believe. this time with his children. Despite the fame and awards, Ozzy always tried to keep his family close. Love, regrets, and real-life battles. Ozzy's personal life had many ups and downs. In 1971, he met his first wife, Thelma Riley, at a nightclub. They married that same year and had 2 children, Jessica and Louis. Ozzy also adopted Thelma's son, Elliot, but Ozzy later called this marriage a terrible mistake. He was often away touring and using drugs, which damaged the family. His kids even said he wasn't a good father. In a 2011 documentary, God Bless Ozzy Osbourne, Ozzy admitted he couldn't even remember when Jessica and Louis were born. His life changed again when he met Sharon Arden. She was his manager and became his second wife on July 4, 1982. They had 3 children together, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. After Jack was born, Ozzy had a vasectomy. The choice of their wedding date wasn't random. He later said they picked Independence Day so he'd never forget their anniversary. Even guitarist Randy Rhoads once predicted in 1981 that Ozzy and Sharon would probably get married someday, even though Ozzy was still with Thelma at the time. Over the years, the Osbournes had their fair share of drama, but they stayed together. Ozzy even wrote a song for Amy, which ends with her saying, "I'll always be your angel." He also wrote "My Little Man" for his son Jack. The family lived between homes in Los Angeles and Buckinghamshire. Ozzy had several grandchildren, and despite all his struggles, he stayed close to his loved ones. In 2013, he suffered minor burns in a small house fire. But on his 65th birthday, instead of throwing a party, he asked fans to donate to a cancer charity in London. That moment showed a softer side of the man once known for biting the head off a bat on stage. Ozzy was a mix of chaos and kindness, and he never tried to hide it. Ozzy never really slowed down. Even in his 70s, he was still making music. In 2022, he released his last solo album, Patient Number 9. But his health had been getting worse. He had multiple surgeries and was open about his fight with Parkinson's disease. Yet, he always seemed to bounce back. His fans kept hoping for one more show, one more song. But sadly, on July the 22nd, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76. The news hit hard. A statement from his family said he died in the morning, surrounded by his loved ones. His death wasn't just the end of a music legend, it felt personal. People around the world had grown up with Ozzy's music, his reality show, his wild personality. And now, everyone wanted to know, what really happened? Before we take a look at that, let's first take a closer look at the many health struggles he was facing behind the scenes. Living with Parkinson's. Ozzy Osbourne was open about his health struggles, especially after revealing that he had Parkinson's disease. He passed away on July 22, 2025, at the age of 76. His family shared the heartbreaking news, saying he was with his family and surrounded by love. Just a few weeks earlier, on July 5th, Ozzy had performed his final concert in Birmingham, England. Over 40,000 fans, including stars like Jason Momoa and Steven Tyler, came to see him one last time. It was an emotional goodbye. Ozzy had been living with Parkinson's for years. He first talked about it in 2020 and said, "It's a mild form of Parkinson's at the moment. I'm not shaking." He explained that many people walk around with the condition and don't even know it. He said, "You don't get a pimple on your forehead. You just start walking a bit funny, I suppose." Though it wasn't always visible, the illness affected his ability to move and live normally. Still, Ozzy tried to stay strong. His wife Sharon made it clear that Parkinson's was not a death sentence. She said, "It's like you have a good day, and then a really bad day." Ozzy admitted he had to stop hiding it from fans. "I'm no good with secrets," he said. "I cannot walk around with it anymore, 'cause it's like I'm running out of excuses, you know?" Sharon later revealed that Ozzy was first diagnosed with Parkinson's back in 2003. She shared her pain in a documentary in 2022, saying, "When I look at my husband, my heart breaks for him. I'm sad for myself to see him that way, but what he goes through is worse." She added, "Sometimes when I look at him, and he doesn't know I'm looking at him, I'm crying." It was clear the disease was taking a toll on both of them. In and out of surgery. In the years leading up to his death, Ozzy faced one surgery after another. In 2017, he announced a farewell tour that was supposed to run until 2020. But it didn't go as planned. In October 2018, he had to undergo hand surgery after an infection in his thumb. A few months later, in January, he got hit with a severe upper respiratory infection. That forced him to cancel more shows. Ozzy said at the time, "It just seems that since October, everything I touch has turned to stunt." Things got worse. While recovering, he fell in his Los Angeles home and hurt himself badly. This fall made old injuries from a 2003 ATV accident even worse. That accident had already left him with a broken collarbone and 6 ribs. After the fall in 2019, Ozzy had neck surgery in April and canceled all remaining shows for the year. But that wasn't the end. He had 3 more spinal surgeries over the next few years. The last one happened in September 2023. He later said, "It's going to be the final surgery because I can't do it anymore." He was tired. His body had taken enough. "Regardless of the way it ends up, I can't," he added. Even simple things became hard. Ozzy said, "I walked upstairs today for the first time in a while and my feet feel like I've got diving boots on." His words gave fans a clear look at how difficult life had become for him. These weren't just small health problems. These were life-changing battles he fought quietly for years. Battling through addiction and accidents. Ozzy's health was also affected by years of addiction and old injuries. His struggles with alcohol and drugs began in the 1970s and continued for decades. He had periods of sobriety, but admitted in 2024 that he wasn't completely sober. He said, "My tolerance has gone, I'm glad to say, because when I start drinking, I start looking for drugs." Sharon stood by him through it all. Ozzy once said, "Sharon had good training in dealing with chaos." But it wasn't just the addiction that made things harder. In 2003, Ozzy was involved in a serious quad bike crash. He broke his collarbone and 6 ribs. Doctors even had to stop bleeding in his lungs. The accident happened during a break from promoting a duet with his daughter, Kelly. Years later, in 2019, another accident made things worse. Ozzy fell while using the toilet, and the fall dislodged metal rods in his back from the 2003 crash. He later explained, "I fell over and I landed wrong." At first, he thought the doctors could fix things easily. But that wasn't the case. He added, "My son Jack has a video of me going into surgery saying, 'I'll see you in a few minutes.' I haven't walked properly since." The crash and the fall left him in constant pain and led to multiple surgeries that affected the way he lived for the rest of his life. These weren't just small setbacks. They were major blows to his ability to live a normal life. Even with help from his family, Ozzy never fully recovered. Trying to keep going. Despite all the pain and the medical setbacks, Ozzy didn't want to stop. He wanted to keep performing, to keep giving his fans everything he had. But his body couldn't keep up. In 2019, he had to cancel more shows after getting pneumonia. He was supposed to perform in Sydney, Melbourne, Christchurch, Auckland, and China, but doctors told him to rest. Sharon shared the news online and wrote, "Ozzy recently developed pneumonia. and has spent some time in hospital. He is through the worst part. His doctors have advised that he stay at home to recuperate for full 6 weeks. That was a hard time for Ozzy, who didn't like to disappoint his fans. He also felt helpless. On Good Morning America, he spoke about how it felt not being able to work. "Coming from a working-class background, I hate to let people down," he said. "I hate to not do my job." He continued, "When I see my wife going to work, my kids going to work, everybody's trying to be helpful to me, that gets me down because I can't contribute to my family." Those words showed how deeply Ozzy felt the weight of not being able to provide. He was someone who had built his life on performing, on being there for his fans and his family. Now he could barely walk or stand without pain. Even though the world saw him as the Prince of Darkness, in his final years, Ozzy was just trying to get through each day the best he could. Returning home. One last time. Before his death, Ozzy Osbourne was planning to return to his home in Buckinghamshire, England. In December 2023, he told Rolling Stone that the house was being renovated and he couldn't wait to go back. He reflected on his life during that interview, saying, "I do count my lucky stars. I don't know why I'm still here, and I do sometimes think I'm on borrowed time." He spoke with deep emotion about his life with Sharon, saying, "What a great life we've had, and what a great experience." It was clear he was feeling grateful, but also aware that time was running out. Sharon also shared similar thoughts with Billboard. She said they were ready to slow down and step away from their busy careers. "We're done," she said. "I've been doing this since I was 15, and I'm done. We just want to live our life and do what we want to do, and not have to follow an itinerary anymore." These words showed how much the couple wanted peace and quiet after decades in the spotlight. They had spent their lives working non-stop, and now they just wanted to enjoy the time they had left together. The final concert in Birmingham. On July 5th, 2025, just 2 weeks before he passed, Ozzy gave his final performance in Birmingham. It was called Back to the Beginning, a name that held deep meaning. This concert brought Ozzy back to the place where everything started. For the first time in 20 years, he reunited with his Black Sabbath bandmates, Bill Ward, Tony Iommi, and Geezer Butler. It was a full-circle moment. Over 40,000 fans gathered at Villa Park to witness the legendary event. Some even traveled from around the world. Big names like Jason Momoa, Steven Tyler, and Slash were there too. The show was promoted as the greatest heavy metal show ever, and fans were not disappointed. Ozzy sat on a bat-themed throne throughout the performance due to his Parkinson's disease. He hadn't done any real physical work in over 7 years, and had been training with a coach to prepare. "If my God wants me to do the show, I'll do it," he said on his Ozzy Speaks radio show. "By hook or by crook, I'm gonna make it there. I'm giving it everything I've got." His dedication moved everyone. It wasn't just a concert. It was a farewell filled with meaning, passion, and memories. Ozzy wore black clothes and his signature eye makeup. Though seated, his energy still filled the stadium. He performed 5 of his most loved songs: "I Don't Know," "Mr. Crowley," "Suicide Solution," "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and "Crazy Train." As he closed the show, fireworks lit up the sky. The moment was heavy with emotion. Ozzy raised his arms, blew kisses, and gave fans a heartfelt thank you. According to reports from Mirror US, many fans were in tears. The night ended with a giant banner that read, "Thank you for everything. You guys are ****ing amazing. Birmingham forever." It was bold, loud, and pure Ozzy. Sharon later revealed to Rolling Stone UK that the event had been 2 years in the making. She was full of emotion, calling the night magic. She said, "It was just amazing how everybody said, 'Yes, we want to do it. We're there. We want to support Sabbath and Ozzy and be there for the charity.'" The night wasn't just about music. It was about support, legacy, and love. "Every single artist has just been fantastic," Sharon said. Ozzy finally had the chance to thank his fans for giving him the life he had. Sharon added, "We appreciate everything that these fans have given us around the world." It was more than just a goodbye. It was a celebration of everything Ozzy had built over decades, looking back with love and strength. Leading up to the show, Ozzy had reflected on what this final concert meant. On Instagram, he wrote, "It's my time to go back to the beginning. Time for me to give back to the place where I was born." He felt honored to perform his last set in Birmingham, the city that had shaped him. "How blessed am I to do it with the help of people whom I love. Birmingham is the true home of metal. Birmingham forever." Even though he was dealing with serious health issues, he didn't let that stop him from giving fans what they had waited years to see. The Guardian reported that the idea for the show had actually come from Sharon. She believed Ozzy needed something to keep him going, something to give him purpose. She said it gave him a reason to get up in the morning. That one final goal pushed him to fight harder. And on the night of the performance, Ozzy shared one last emotional message with fans. "I don't know what to say, man. I've been laid up for like 6 years," he said. "You have no idea how I feel. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart." His words left a lasting mark on everyone in the stadium and everyone watching around the world. Just 2 weeks later, Ozzy passed away. The concert now feels like a goodbye he planned with all his heart, and one that he gave with everything he had left. The family's heartbreaking announcement. On July 22, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76. Just hours after his death, his family released a joint statement. The message was shared by Sharon Osbourne and 4 of his 5 children, Jack, Kelly, Amy, and Louis. It read, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." They ended the message by asking for privacy during such a painful time. With the announcement, they also posted a photo of Ozzy sitting on a black-winged throne during his final performance at the Back to the Beginning event. That image quickly spread across social media. The concert, held just 2 weeks before his death, had raised money for Acorns Children's Hospice, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Cure Parkinsons. The moment now feels even more emotional, as it was the last time fans saw him on stage. The family's words were simple, but they carried deep sadness. It was clear that Ozzy had left the world surrounded by those who loved him most. Public tributes from friends and legends. After the heartbreaking news of Ozzy Osbourne's death broke, the world responded with love, tears, and powerful memories. From longtime fans to fellow rock stars, tributes poured in from every corner of the globe. It wasn't just the end of a career, it felt like the end of an era. Black Sabbath, the band that gave Ozzy his start and shaped the sound of heavy metal, posted a simple message on Instagram, "Ozzy forever." Those 2 words said everything. Fans felt it. The band knew it. It was their way of saying goodbye to their brother, their frontman, their legend. Elton John, one of the biggest names in music, shared his sadness too. He described Ozzy as a dear friend and a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods, a true legend. But Elton also added a touch of warmth, saying, "He was also one of the funniest people I've ever met. I will miss him dearly." He ended by sending love and condolences to Sharon and the family. Ronnie Wood, guitarist of the Rolling Stones, also shared how he felt. He said he was very sad to hear the news and praised Ozzy's final concert. "What a lovely goodbye concert he had at Back to the Beginning in Birmingham," he wrote. That last show had touched many, and Ronnie's words reminded people how perfect and meaningful it really was. Metallica also joined the wave of mourning. They posted a broken heart emoji next to an old photo of the band with Ozzy. It was a quiet but powerful way of honoring someone who had influenced their music and helped shape the genre they love. Online, fans were sharing everything. Videos of Ozzy's wild performances, interviews full of his humor and honesty, and pictures from his recent concert. Many couldn't believe he had performed just 2 weeks earlier. Others said they were crying watching his last words to the crowd. It wasn't just Ozzy's music that people were remembering. It was his energy, his fearless nature, his chaotic but real personality. People felt like they knew him, and now they were grieving not just a rock icon, but someone who had been a part of their lives for decades. Speaking of which, just hours before his death, Ozzy made what now feels like a haunting final post on Instagram. The last Instagram post and fan reaction. It was a backstage photo from the Back to the Beginning event. The image showed a sign above his dressing room, with his name and a picture of himself with his original bandmates, Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward. The words on the sign said, "Back to the Beginning, the final show." At the time, it seemed like a simple thank you to fans. But after the news of his passing, the post felt like a goodbye. Fans quickly noticed the timing. The photo, the words, and the concert all pointed to something deeper, like Ozzy knew his time was near. The farewell concert had been powerful enough already, but now it meant even more. Fans flooded social media with comments, calling Ozzy a fighter and a hero. Many said it was unbelievable that he was able to perform just 2 weeks before his death. Others said they cried watching his last performance. His wife, Sharon, had revealed before the show that Ozzy was working with his therapist every single day to prepare. She added, "Ozzy's #1 thing in life is his fans, so he's working hard to be ready for them, to make this show the perfect way to end things." And that's exactly what he did. No cause of death revealed yet. As of now, no official cause of death has been shared by the family. But many people know that Ozzy had been living with Parkinson's disease for several years. Parkinson's is a nervous system disorder that slowly affects movement, balance, and control over the body. The Mayo Clinic describes it as a disease that gets worse over time. In a 2020 interview, Ozzy had called it terribly challenging. He said the hardest part was not being able to move the way he used to. Even though his condition was known, the exact reason for his death is still not confirmed. News outlets like The Independent, the UK Sun, and The Mirror all reported that he passed away surrounded by family, but they also said that the cause of death had not been made public. Until now, there's been no information about his funeral either. The Osbourne family hasn't shared the date, location, or whether the service will be open to fans. Many people are waiting for details, hoping they'll get a chance to say goodbye properly. In the final days before his death, Ozzy's daughter, Kelly, had taken to social media to defend her father from false rumors. She had seen fake videos online saying Ozzy was dying, and even ones claiming he had a suicide pact with Sharon. Kelly didn't hold back. She said, "What the FK is wrong with you people? Why would you spend your time making a video like this?" She added, "He's not dying. Yes, he has Parkinson's, but he's not dying." She also shut down the suicide pact story. "That was bulls. My mom said to get attention one time," she explained. Just days later, the unexpected happened. Ozzy was gone. Now the world waits for answers, remembering a man who gave his all until the very end. Do you think Ozzy's death was purely due to his health issues, or could there be more to the story? What will you remember most about Ozzy Osbourne, the music, the madness, or the man behind it all? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.